And so there's a lot of mistrust and there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to supplements. And so people ask me, give me a list of, the supplements that I need,
Right.
including vitamins, for my health. And while I always recommend that you take a blood test, just a general blood test to see your levels and see where you're lacking, you always have to consult with your physician before making these kinds of changes.
Hi guys, Raza Kazimpour with Six Ring, and I'm here with.
Ellie at Elevate Wellness.
And today is a really interesting subject. We're talking about the supplement industry. It's $150 billion industry, and I've been in and out of this industry with a ton of companies that I've had, especially being in the health and wellness industry. And you see all sorts of things, and we're gonna go into this, but my biggest thing has always been like, what is it your body actually needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unless you have the right physician or the right tools or services or even products to help you get there, you really don't know. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know what percentage of vitamin D, creatine, omega 3, like what is it your body actually needs? And I discovered this again a while back when I was 40. I had just invested in a company called Wellness FX. And we had a platform that we put together that actually what's become kind of the boutique industry of getting all your biomarkers. We did those biomarkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was about 54 different biomarkers. And a normal GPs, they won't know how to do this. So it has to be a very specific physician that understands like the ingredients your body needs and what that output should be also. But the output of that was specifically what types, what milligrams of all the vitamins that your body's required to get you to where you're going, right? That's really what my company does now is to kind of formulate that for you. But I'd love to hear from you because again, our biggest thing, and I'd love the audience to understand, like, we're talking about how between, male and female, like what the differences are and how we can
Mm-hmm.
both utilize these things, right? As a platform, we can use a lot of these things, but when it comes down to the specific ingredients, it's so different from everyone because we're built so differently. But
That's
maybe
right.
you can give some insight on this as well.
Yeah, sounds good. So this is a very hot topic, and there's a lot of questions about it. Especially working with clients, even some of my friends ask me, Ellie, should I eat take a multivitamin or
Right.
not? And the answer is not that simple. So as you said, the supplement industry is not as regulated as, like, let's say the pharmaceutical companies and pharmaceutical industry. And so there's a lot of mistrust and there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to supplements. And so people ask me, give me a list of, the supplements that I need,
Right.
including vitamins, for my health. And while I always recommend that you take a blood test, just a general blood test to see your levels and see where you're lacking, you always have to consult with your physician before making these kinds of changes. But a general rule of thumb is you need a multivitamin that's
Right.
bioavailable. You need magnesium before you go to bed to lower your cortisol and to improve your sleep quality.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are deficient in vitamin D. There's a couple of different reasons why. Some people in certain locations of the country or the world don't get enough sun exposure. And then some people do get enough exposure, but their body does not convert it into vitamin D.
Right.
And so most people tend to be deficient in vitamin D. And so that's something you can check in your blood test to
Yes.
see where you are and how much you need to supplement. And vitamin D and K2 always need to be best friends and they need to be taken
Right.
together,
Right.
as you know, so that the vitamin D can be absorbed into your body. I would say vitamin C is another vitamin that we all need, no matter how old you are, because it's not a vitamin that our body makes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vitamin that you need to get from the external world.
Right.
Another one I would say is a supplement. I would say creatine.
Mm-hmm.
Creatine is essential for your health. It's the most researched supplement in the world. And it has so many benefits for people who want to improve their metabolism and who are physically active. It really helps with your recovery. It helps fuel your body. It really has a lot of benefits when it comes to cognitive health and brain health. And so, no matter if you're a man or a woman, you need
Right.
creatine. And the baseline is 5 milligrams. I like to 10 milligrams because it really helps me, especially if you haven't had a good night's sleep. Having 10 milligrams of
Oh, so
creatine
you
the
take it at
next morning.
night?
I take it in the morning,
I take it in the morning.
but I'm
Okay.
just saying if you haven't had a good night's sleep, like
Right.
let's say if you are an overtired mom, or if you're a mom with an infant, or you have someone who struggles with sleep or has insomnia, the next day you have to get up and go about your day, you have to go
Right.
to work, you have to do your things. Having 10 milligrams of creatine in your coffee or in your drink, you could mix it
Interesting.
into
Okay.
anything you want, can really help you kind of wake up and have enough energy to go about your day. Another favorite of mine is protein powder, but that one's also a sticky subject.
Yeah.
With protein powders, I would say there's hundreds, if not thousands, of protein powder companies out there. And while I don't claim to know all of them, I can count with one finger or one hand how many protein powder brands I would recommend
Okay.
to my clients. It's very important the ingredients that are in there, how high quality they are. You want minimal list of ingredients, 5 or less in your protein powder. I know that eliminates most of them,
Right. Right.
but there's a few out there that are really good for you and really tasty. And you also really need to care about the sweetener they use. A lot of the times they don't use the good kind of sweeteners. I would say you want ones with monk fruit sweetener, or allulose as a
Mm-hmm.
sweetener, or raw honey if you have to do
Yeah. Yeah.
sugar
Yeah.
based. Sometimes stevia is okay, but depends on the quality of the stevia that they use. And it also depends on your gut health. Some people don't do well with stevia
Right.
when it comes to their gut health. But I would say any other sweetener I would not take. And so those are my favorites.
Yeah. So, I think gut health can be an entire episode on its own. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to dig too deep into that. But yeah, like I myself, I love raw honey. I use that on my coffee, use that on everything. But going back into, because in every episode we talk about, I like simple things, simplicity, things you can remember, and the
Mm-hmm.
creatine actually helps out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Brain health with creatine, I love it. Um, but I think as a guideline again, because when you go into these like now we have the beauty of we can order a lot of these things online, but not everybody also has the ability to go and get these blood tests done, right? Unless
That's
you
right.
kind of know what to ask for, or if you have like a specialist to go to, most people really don't know. Like they don't
Yes.
know what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So as a guideline, like if they do go into like some of these supplement stores you see in the mall,
Mm-hmm.
like what is it they should look for? Like, okay, B, C, D, and they can go by what's prescribed on the bottle. Hey, take like 3,000 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams. Or if they get a multivitamin, what's kind of the baseline you would recommend? Like whether you're a man or a woman, like at the base, you should get like these 5 things. What would be those 5 things that you
I
would
would
recommend?
say a bioavailable multivitamin that's third party tested. And what that means is it's tested for quality and it's also tested for bioavailability.
Mm-hmm.
We can, on another episode, we could talk about my recommended vitamins that I
Yeah.
recommend to my clients. There's a few companies that make really high quality
Yeah.
bioavailable vitamins that are derived from real food, and
Okay.
so real fruits and vegetables. And they're tested for purity and efficiency and
Okay.
effectiveness. And so you don't want to just go to Costco, for example, and I have not found a single multivitamin at a supermarket or at a Whole Food, like a wholesale um, market, like Whole Foods or even Costco, that
Yeah.
I would recommend,
Okay.
because there's hundreds, if not thousands, of companies out there, and most of them are not third party tested, and most of them are not in a bioavailable format. What does that mean? That means that the vitamin is broken down in a format that your
Mm-hmm.
body can easily absorb. Most people don't know what that means. But if you're taking a vitamin that it's not it's in its most bioavailable form, your body is not capable of using that vitamin and absorbing it and
Exactly.
increasing your health. And so you're basically um, eating vitamins and then you're peeing it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it becomes a very
It's like
expensive
getting an
pee.
IV bag. No, it's like getting an IV, and like literally you get
Yeah.
the
So
Myers drip or something, and as soon as it comes in, it's out. Yeah.
exactly. And so I would say when you're buying your vitamins, your multivitamin, your vitamin C, your vitamin D, you have to make sure it's in a third party tested company. There's a few of them that you can even find on Amazon. So even if you can't find them in a health food store, you can find them on Amazon or most online stores. And so there's a few of those companies that I know of, and I would recommend if you're gonna invest in
Yeah.
multivitamin or any vitamin of any sort, that you need to go to a company that has that third party testing and that's bioavailable.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two is the supplements that you use. You need to make sure you read the ingredients, and if, like, for example, you're getting creatine, that should be the only ingredient. You
Right,
don't
right,
want to
right.
see anything else in there. A lot of times they combine L-theanine and GABA and this and that. They don't
Exactly.
need to be together,
Okay.
And so I would say just make sure that if you're getting creatine, for example, or magnesium, on the list you just see magnesium,
Yeah.
glycinate, or you see creatine, and there's different variations of creatine, and they all have different
Right,
purposes.
right, right.
And so we can talk about that later, but just make sure that you read the ingredients so that you understand what's on there. If it's anything else but the actual ingredient that you need, you want to stay away from it.
I think another issue that you kind of touched on is when you are looking for these things, not everybody can afford like going and buying the best quality, the highest quality
Mm-hmm.
of products either. Like they
Yes.
want to be healthy, but also they can't spend $500 on a bottle of supplements that can last them a week.
Yeah.
So they have to be very, um, price conscious on
Yes.
what they can buy. And I think, yeah, for our next episode, I'd love to go through some of my recommendations, some of your recommendations on specific supplements that we can talk to, right? And then, sorry, that we can talk to, and then go through like specifically what people can do, even with like there are a few companies I'll make recommendations for that um, can do the testing all like they can send you a kit. And I've done
Mm-hmm.
this myself too, because I like to play around with a lot of these different platforms. Because funny, we mentioned vitamin D. As dark as I am, I live in the sun. I'm literally in the sun like maybe 4 hours a day, and I'm still deficient.
Yeah, you're from Iran.
Exactly, exactly. So like I have the means. I shoot myself with B12. I shoot myself with D, and I take all the variety of supplements that I need to because I've taken these tests. But not like I said, not everybody has those means. So I think in the next episode, what I'd love to really touch on is here are the things that you can do based on, I don't want to say affordability, but it's really affordability.
Yeah.
Like what can you
Like
on your
various brackets
just
of
various brackets,
availability.
like
Yeah.
this bracket, and this bracket. Like here are the things that we can plug in and kind of help you get these things. And then again, from the audience, like it would be nice to get some feedback once they have done this. Like, how's your sleep been when if you do
Mm-hmm.
take magnesium or if you do take melatonin? Like, what are the supplements that help you? Specifically with the creatine, I don't think not enough people know what creatine can like. There's so many benefits. I think
Yes.
there's probably a plethora of benefits that haven't even been unlocked yet with creatine as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Weight, you all you know is like you want to gain weight, you want to go lift weights, and you take creatine. It's mixed with everything else you're doing, but it has so many other benefits that we haven't touched on. So I think in our next episode, what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll have like a list of kind of products and services and companies that we both use, that we both like, and specifically in those brackets that people can utilize. And then if we get some feedback from you guys, maybe from this episode, we can use it on our next one as well.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ellie. This has
Thank
been
you.
great. And we look forward to seeing you guys in our next episode. Thank you.